All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? We are back with another edition of the NFL Quick Hit video. We are going Munich, Germany style edition of the Quick Hit today. Yes, to talk about the New York Football Giants taking on these Carolina Panthers. Giants 5.5-point favorites, about a 41-point total in this matchup. Not going to be a very exciting game, but there's still $100K up top. I'm going to go to our I'm drawing a blank on the name of it. I'm going to go to the Stone, which is the Stone Cold Nuts here. Let me pull that up real quick while I get to the screen. I'm going to share the Stone, and we're going to go team by team in this game and talk a little bit about what we're going to play in this. Boom, there we go. Let me get it right up on the screen. I'm going to pull it down. You should be able to see it now. There you have it. We're going to talk a little bit about the Giants. A couple of injuries to talk about in this one. We do know that Darius Slayton is going to be out. That's the big news on the Giants side. And then on the Panthers side, I did see where Jonathan Brooks, he did practice all week, but they're still listing him as questionable. Those are the two biggest bullets to take note in here today. Let's talk Giants. Let's talk Giants to start with today, kind of who we're going to see at the captain position. Daniel Jones up top, 14-1. We know Daniel Jones, who he is, what he does, what quarterbacks have done to this Panthers team all season long. Panthers giving up over 30 points on the year. Daniel Jones, he can run it. He can pass it a little bit. Don't hate Daniel Jones at 14-1 in the captain spot. You can see here he's also a cash consideration based up on his color code. Next up for me would be Tyrone Tracy. We saw Tracy, 2 games ago in a primetime game, Monday night at the Steelers. Obviously a much better or much harder matchup that night, much better matchup today over in Munich for this game. Tyrone Tracy, 16 carries last week to Devin Singletary's 7 carries. Hey, Byron Dable came out this week and said it as well. Tyrone Tracy, they want to feed him. They want to feed him early. They want to feed him often. Everybody really, but running backs especially have just annihilated this Panthers defense all year long. Kamara last week himself had, I think it was 27 carries for over $150. I think Tyrone Tracy is going to get a ton of carries in this game, a ton of volume in this game against this depleted Panthers squad. On the receiver side, for me, it's really just 2 receivers that they're going to throw to. Malik Neighbors, time in, time out. They're peppering him with targets. Last week alone in that game that they trailed a majority of the game, you saw 11 targets. The week before that against Pittsburgh, it was 13. 8 before that, 15, 12. So, Dobbs is going to be looking his way. Cash consideration for him as well, but also he's going to be in your player pool. It was the Cowboys. I think it was a Monday night game when it was Neighbors and Robinson were the 2 that were needed with no Daniel Jones. On DraftKings especially, you can just pepper both of these guys, Neighbors and Robinson, with targets. Robinson coming in at 11-1 in the captain spot. I don't hate that. Once again, I think you can do it where if you think that the Panthers are going to be, competitive in this game and or in front of this game, you could see a scenario again where both of those guys combine for 20 catches, 200 yards. Maybe one of them gets the bonus, maybe both of them get the bonus. And Danny Dimes is not needed in this contest. So on the Giants side, it would be Jones, Tracy, and then the 2 pass catchers, Neighbors and Robinson in the captain spot. That's going to be where it was. Tyrone Tracy would be number 1 for me, just strictly based on the fact I do think he is going to I do think he will break 100 yards. I do think he will score a touchdown. And I do not think that they will have to pass the ball a whole ton. 5-point favorites in this contest. Let's move down to the Panthers, talk about some of the captains we want to look at over there. Bryce Young, 13-2 over there. I believe he's the same price. Yeah, right around the same price as Tyrone Tracy. A little bit less expensive than Dimes. You can see his captain ownership is only going to come in at 10, about 10%, 11%. Don't hate that. Chuba Hubbard. I mean, obviously Jonathan Brooks is the big news, but let's say Jonathan Brooks is in. I don't think I would get to Chuba in the captain spot. It's odd to me that they would re-sign him for what they re-signed him after they paid Miles Sanders, after they drafted Jonathan Brooks, who they knew was coming off an ACL. So just very weird to me. But if Jonathan Brooks plays, I will not have Chuba Hubbard in the captain. I think he's fine for the flex, which we'll get to here in a minute. But I just see a tough path if they're trailing game script. They'll get Miles Sanders to throw him some passes. They want to get Jonathan Brooks, assuming he plays. But Jonathan Brooks sits, obviously, a lot more interest in Chuba. Then let's talk about the three receivers. Deontay Johnson, he's gone. Jonathan Mingo played 20% of the snaps last week, 25% of the snaps last week. And Jerry Jones, what are you doing? They shipped him off to Dallas. So you really got three guys. David Moore playing 85% of the snaps at 4,500, in the captain spot. Maybe he's viable. Jalen Coker, I know Jalen Coker was super popular last week. People were talking him up. He kind of laid an egg. Don't think I'll be getting there. And then I just can't pay 12.6 for Xavier Leggett. I think he's a good real-life player. I just think he's in a bad situation right now. It's going to be tough to get to these Panthers in the captain spot, and I think a lot of people will be the same way as well. So if you wanted to get contrarian, I think you could go Panthers. But for me, when I'm just looking at this, it's tough to get. If you look over here in the captain leverage spot, you see the best value would be Xavier Leggett, and it would be Bryce Young or Leggett for me if I was going to do that. Adam Thielen, I didn't mention Adam Thielen. I believe he is out once again. I don't think they activated him, so I think he's going to miss one more week. Jatavian Sanders, I believe, got 6 targets last week. Don't think I'll be getting there. Tommy Tremble, questionable as well. Let's talk kickers and defenses. We always do that. None in the captain, neither one in the captain. Hey, but you see these kickers all season long have been in play. Certainly, the Giants kicker is going to be in play. And then Eddie Pinheiro for the Panthers. Don't hate that. Strictly flex plays. I haven't built many teams yet. If you need to get there, I think that's totally fine. I think the Giants win this game pretty handily. That's the way I have it. So I think I would trend Giants kicker more than Pinheiro. Just I think he has more opportunities. Let's talk about some of my favorite flex plays. Obviously, anybody that I have interest in the captain, I also have interest in them in the flex spot as well. Jalen Hyatt. Let's talk Jalen Hyatt. Not playing at all, really. Less than 10%, hasn't been there. But we've said it, a couple times when they've been on these island games. Is he can take the top off, right? Former Tennessee Vol great Jalen Hyatt at 2K, right? Once again, haven't built teams, but if you're going to build your game script where Danny Dimes is going to be slinging the ball around, he could take the top off, make it very well. So don't hate Jalen Hyatt if you need him in the flex spot. Don't like Devin Singletary nor Eric Gray. Just the volume is not going to be there for me. Theo Johnson, we saw Theo come on with 6 targets last week, $4,000. Don't hate that if you needed to get there. No Daniel Bellinger for me. Main one would be Jalen Hyatt if I needed a dart throw, similar to Tylan Wallace like he was on Thursday night. Jalen Hyatt, he's not really a catch and run guy like we saw with Wallace the other night. He's more of a catch it 60 yards down the field, 40 yards down the field, then run it in another 40, big play guy. Moving over to the Panther side, no interest in any of these backs outside of Chuba Hubbard. Miles Sanders, no thank you. Jonathan Brooks, I don't think they'll take the training wheels off of him. As for the receivers, I'm going to say it's going to be Xavier Leggett 1. I actually like David Moore a little bit better than Coker just based on that price. Moore playing over 80% of the snaps, where Coker is more of a slot guy, 60%, if you will. And then David Moore had 4 targets last week. Hey, and at $3,000, don't hate that one bit. And if we can get a little bit of ownership discount on him as well, don't hate that. Jatavian Sanders, hey, very similar price to Theo Johnson, the 2 rookie tight ends. I'm going to side with Theo in this one over Jatavian, just because I like the big body and I like the fact that Darius Slayton is going to be out. I mean, these Giants, they really have only played 3 wide receivers the last couple of weeks, so I think Slayton being out is a big deal to the Giants. I think Johnson gets more targets. Hopefully, Tyrone Tracy, the former wide receiver, gets more targets as well. I'm gonna give you my top three captains, and then we'll get on out of here and get ready for this game in the morning. I'm gonna say Tracy's going to be number 1 for me. Malik Neighbors would be number 2 for me. He is going to be probably the most expensive Neighbors, that is. And then number 3 for me would be Dimes, Daniel Jones. So I'm going heavy Giants. I think the Giants win this game going away. Just my feeling. If you wanted to play a Panthers in the captain, like I said earlier, I think it would be Leggett or Young for me, but they would be 4 and 5. I think the Giants roll in this one. I'm going to stop sharing the screen now. Get back over here. That'll do it for me. I appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully you found this video interesting. Please hit that like. Please hit that subscribe button there at the end. The big boys will be with you in the morning. Title, Tambo, and Hoop breaking down the main slate. Make sure you're tuning in 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll do it for tonight. For your boy Ham, enjoy the Germany game. Nades and I'll be back doing a Sunday night show to talk a little Lions at Texans. Looking forward to seeing that one as well. For Ham, this is Ship It Nation. Let's ship it.